Hi, my name is Tamara, and you are watching Things Even a Monkey Should Know. Hello, hello, hello! Thank you so much for joining me again today. As you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm not a professional anything except artist, but I've learned that there are a number of things around the house and out in the yard and on my cars I can do myself, and usually save myself time, money, and aggravation, so hopefully you have saved those things now too. Today, we are going to be changing out recessed lights in the ceiling, and this applies whether you have this kind of recessed light or the old style can lighting. It's actually super simple to do, so let's get started. Okay, things that we're gonna need today. Wow, the acoustics in this room are amazing. Oh, it just makes me want to be a singer. We're gonna need a flashlight, probably. Depending on how your lights are currently installed, you may need to have a utility knife, and if you do, make sure that you have a very fresh blade on it so that it is as sharp as possible so that we're making as delicate of cuts as possible. You also may need to have a flat blade screwdriver or something else that is flat here to be able to pry under little edges. You are going to need your new lights. You may also need a stepladder, and that should be it. Let's talk about light temperature really quickly for a minute. So light is measured in kelvins. The lower the Kelvin number, the warmer the light. The higher the Kelvin number, the cooler the light. And warmer meaning the yellower the light is, cooler being the bluer the light is. So a 2700 degree Kelvin light is going to be something like the old soft white light bulbs that we used to be able to get, that you might still be able to get them on the black market. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We can replicate it with LEDs now. A 6500 degree Kelvin light is going to be a really cold white light, and that is in fact actually what this light here is set on. So just to give you a little run through, this is set on its coolest setting right now, which is 6500. We can go to what's called daylight, so it's supposed to be mimicking the sunlight outside-ish, and that is 5000 degrees Kelvin. You can go to cool white, which probably looks warm now by comparison, which is 4000 degrees Kelvin. And then we really start to get warm when we go to warm white, which is 3000 degrees, and soft white, which is 2700 Kelvin. From experience, I can tell you it is really helpful to have one light that switches like this on the back so that you can have it in your home to help you decide what kind of light you want, because once you get a light in your home, it's very different than the displays that are set up in the stores because it's actually your living space, right? So I already changed out one light in this room. I have 6 lights to change out total. And the reason is because the lighting that was put in here is way too warm for a room that does not have a light to the outdoors. This room looks yellow, so that's kind of gross. So we're changing out to 5000 degree lights, which is daylight mimicking. Now, if you have lights installed that have been either caulked in, because sometimes they will be caulked in around this edge, or they were just put in when the paint was still fresh, then you are going to need to cut around the light. And I turned off the light because these lights are very blinding. So all that we're going to do is just very carefully run our blade around this edge so that we can pull this light out of the ceiling without damaging the ceiling. And I can see that this light actually is not going to give me as much trouble, I don't think, as the very first light that I did, which is fantastic. Now the next thing we have to do is get this light out of the ceiling. Now if your light is kind of stuck, oh, by the way, all that you have to do is just grab this and pull it down. But if it's kind of stuck and you can't get your fingers behind it, then this is when you might need your screwdriver a little bit. And I can feel that it is still a little bit stuck to the paint. So I'm just gonna kind of run the screwdriver around to loosen it so I don't tear things up. I think we're about out. So look at that. It just pops right out. And whether you have newer flush lighting or the older cans, they're all pretty much gonna pop out the same way. Look, they have these nifty little clips even. So if you have these flush mount lights that are in the old style cans, it's going to look like they'd be really hard to change out. But guess what? all that you have to do is unscrew them like a regular light bulb, because they have typically the E26 connection, I think it's called, and it's just like a regular light bulb. So then we have our new light that we are installing that is the corrector temperature, and we're just going to screw it back in here. And y'all, I know that I didn't have to turn off the lights to install this, but I always have this horror of getting my finger accidentally stuck in that socket, so I turn them off anyways. It's just not a bad idea. Now our final step is just to snap this into this can, and you see these springs right here? Well, they fit in between these little clips right here, so it effectively sucks the light up in there. And whenever you have brand new lights like this, these springs are really stiff, but that's great. Once you have them fit into those little clips, you simply push the light into place and you're done. Oh, and we should probably turn on the light and see how lovely it is. So that's a pretty nice, cool light. So I have 4 more of these to do. You want to help me? Sure you do. It's only going to take a second. So I would say that is a job well done. I hope you can see this was so easy. I know I usually start and end in the same places, but the acoustics in here were so great, I just thought you needed another treat to my singing. But really, did you see how easy that was? We totally changed the feel of this room. It feels a lot brighter, whether it is or not. The color is much better coming out of the ceiling. So it's super easy to upgrade your old style can lights if you still have them. You don't have to change out the whole fixture or anything. Or if you had the problem like me where you just had the wrong color temperature in your room and you need to change those out. Now you know you can. And that actually took me like 5 minutes to change out 6 lights. It took me longer to tell you about it, but that's usually how we do things, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do that now. Thank you so much to everyone who already has, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.